After talking about Lightyear for a while now, let's look at Pixar's latest project, Cars on the Road. So if you're familiar with my channel, I make a lot of theories. And each Pixar movie usually means something big for the Pixar Theory, the idea that every Pixar movie is connected and takes place on a single timeline. But this is Pixar's first TV show. You would think this show wouldn't make much of a difference in terms of the Pixar Theory, but in fact it does. This series is starting to show the end of the Cars era in the Pixar universe. Because at this point in the timeline, the Cars are in big trouble. If you don't know how the Cars work in the Pixar universe, this is taking place during the time period in between when the humans left Earth and when the events of WALL-E take place. The Cars take on the personality of their owner and come to life in the order they were created. But time is running out fast for the Cars, and that became apparent with Cars 3 when the newer generation of racers started to replace the veteran racers. The technology is getting close to what we see in WALL-E, and this means the end of the Cars era in the Pixar universe. The Cars are restricted to the limitations of machines, and their life is sustained by one thing: fossil fuels.
I mean, come on, it's a fossil fuel. Fossil, as in dead dinosaurs, and we all know what happened to them. Alternative energy is the future.
They're relying on the remains of dinosaurs, which there's more of an abundance of in the Pixar universe because the dinosaurs existed for a prolonged amount of time due to the meteor missing the Earth. But at this point in the timeline, fossil fuels are becoming really scarce when the entire population is using it essentially as food. We can see in the first Cars how the entire town of Radiator Springs relies on Flo's Cafe to keep them alive. This is where Cars 2, although disliked by many, plays an important role in the Pixar universe. Sir Miles Axelrod creates a fake alternative fuel called All in All. At the end of Cars 2, they arrest Miles Axelrod, but there's still no solution to the fuel problem. Once the cars run out of fuel, they all die. If they discover an alternative fuel, the cars can continue to live on forever. And that would cause problems for B&L because it would create more pollution in the long run and ruin any chances of the humans returning to Earth. In 2105, B&L started Operation Cleanup, a plan to send the population to space for 5 years while the WALL-E robots clean up and the humans would return to a clean Earth. However, this 5-year cruise continued to be extended due to an increase in pollution. This was due to the machines taking over. That's why B&L created All in All to turn the cars away from alternative fuel and let them use up the remaining fossil fuels and eventually die out. And this is reflected in Cars on the Road. With the scarcity of oil and no alternative, the cars begin fighting for survival. We can see in the Road Rumblers episode that these cars are fighting over something. I believe they're fighting for oil. There's such little oil left that the cars begin to fight for territory. To further back this up, the cars can be seen drinking oil at the end of the episode, which shows that there's available oil in this area. And this line right here once again refers to oil.
Many vital fluids will be spilled this day.
We hear, however, that they forgot what they're fighting for, and this reveals a big piece of the puzzle in the Pixar Theory. We know that the humans are in space and the cars come to life. But why do they come to life? This is actually for two reasons. One, they're machines, which means they have the ability to function in theory without a driver. But they aren't completely machine, however. They have eyes and mouths, which is something cars don't normally have. But why do they have these? That's because of human memory. We know that memory is very powerful in the Pixar universe. In Coco, the entire land of the dead is a land made up of people's memories of their ancestors, which allow them to exist in this place before the final death. But once people's memory orbs of that person are discarded by mind workers, the person's existence starts to fade. This is taking place shortly after the humans left, anywhere from 2105 to 2300, which means that people still remember Earth, which is what gives these cars life. This car not remembering what he's fighting for shows that the people's memory of Earth is starting to fade, and by the time of WALL-E, even the captain has to be reminded of what Earth is. Even Mater is aware of the fuel crisis.
We may only have a short amount of time left on this planet, so we gotta make the most of that time.
We, meaning the entire planet of cars. This line is reminiscent of the themes of Soul. This is essentially the message of the entire Pixar universe. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and while you're at it, why don't you go check out my video about why Syndrome is Buzz's father. Thank you for watching, and bye.